The crypto market has been in a really crazy spot over the past couple of weeks. I mean, we saw a crazy new all-time high for Bitcoin on the one end, but a pretty crazy fall for altcoins on the other. And it's left people in the middle thinking, should I sell everything now, preparing for further lows, or should I get way more excited, start buying the dip like a maniac in preparation for another massive altcoin season? And to that, I'll show you this one right there. The largest US bank, JP Chase, who has been busy with crypto for as long as I can kind of remember here, the recent history, discloses buying spot Bitcoin ETFs. One thing you've got to understand is this is probably for their clients, perhaps not for themselves on the balance sheet, but it could be, because at the end of the day, people are buying cryptocurrencies for the protection of their assets. I've said it many times, and I get this comment every single day. People ask me, are you not afraid of crypto because it has no longevity? And I keep saying, what is better? Is it the dollar? Because does that really stand well throughout time? Do you think the dollar is better value for money over the next 50 years, or some asset like Bitcoin or like a cryptocurrency? Or stocks for that matter? US stocks, Chinese, which stocks? Oh, AI. Wherever there's positives, there's negatives, because how relevant will these AI stocks be over a prolonged period of time? Not the hype for the next few years, I'm talking longer term. Because just like with cryptos, they say, it's just shining right now, but it will be replaced. Perhaps so will be anything you can think of right now. Because people really, and I'm included in that, can't see the future 20 years ahead. You could think, 1, 2, 3, 4, but 20 years is a whole lot of time. Just imagine 20 years ago, cell phones, people look at you weird, and now think of cell phones out of the world again. It's almost impossible to imagine cell phones not existing. And that's why whenever I talk about these crypto targets, like for example, Bitcoin at 145, Ethereum at 12, XRP at 1, Solana at 1,000, I don't think it's too crazy. Purely because the majority of people haven't really fully decided yet what they want to diversify into. They're still stuck with their traditional investments, being afraid of this newer asset class. But then when we take a look at what some of the major banks are doing, which obviously the general public will only later copy, it just all makes sense. Right now, they're primarily going for Bitcoin, but I still expect this will turn around in due course. It's just a matter of time. And the reason they're going for Bitcoin, I think, is because those have the ETFs. But I purely think, or personally think, that when Ethereum, XRP, Solana, and altcoin ETFs come along, that the banks and mostly their clients, for that matter, will also tune in on them. Having said that, meme coins, and that's a funny thing, they're still so interesting. And over the past couple of weeks, I've noticed that when I look at comments, the amount of interest in this asset class has also taken a very, very big hike. And perhaps it's because it's been one of the more interesting crypto sectors quite recently, whereas a lot of other sectors have been quite boring here and been going down for the most part. Meme coins have still found a lot of people a lot of success, even though, like I said, almost everything has just been going down here for a little bit. I will also add that if you're wondering what to do in crypto right now, my personal thoughts are, just wait for some of these breaks where prices go lower. Just buy the dip quite hard, but not overdo it, and look back at it in a few weeks. Most likely, just within a little instant, it'll be up again. But even if it's not, I personally think if we look back pretty shortly from here, it'll all just be upwards. But I'd be more hesitant with lower cap altcoins in a market like this. Yes, if you're buying the lows of the lows, you will get yourself way more upside, but the risk might not be the best for a time like this. I'd say to go for small cap altcoins when the market's really good and there's crazy hype for it. And in times like this, stick to your bigger longevity, long-term altcoins and switch back over into the higher risk, higher yield coins when times are also slightly better. That being said, it's this range of 50,000 to, I'm going to say, even 80,000, where wherever something happens, it's not a full-on crazy move where people get this crazy conviction. That's where you should be wary of these crazy altcoins. But once we're outside of that, maybe above 82,000 or so, is when you can probably start going really heavy on them. On an opposite side, if Bitcoin breaches all-time high, I kind of think we're already in the clear, because that means we've had ourselves our, let's say, 20%, 25% correction, and are ready to move on slightly higher. Perhaps though, it's like the 2017 and 2021 run where we see a slight increase, let's say 12% increase in Bitcoin price, then a 30% drop, again a slight increase above the all-time high, another massive drop, and so forth and so on, where obviously, like I've stated earlier in the video, if you are just consistent and just keep buying the dip, you can catch a lot of money on that wave upwards, which is what we've done here pretty recently, trying to buy Bitcoin at $56,000 or so, and it went back up to 65. I was a little bit stupid there in the way I acted, but hey, you learn from your mistakes. And even though I've been doing this for such a long time, you'll still make mistakes, but the goal is to not let them get you into a loss position, but only make you, I guess, lose some. You can't win every single trade. It's also not what you're meant to do or supposed to do. It's to either win more than you lose in terms of amount, or in purely, I guess, amount of money. Even if you win and lose basically 50-50, as long as you win a lot more in terms of money than you lose, it's still not a big problem. And many people fail to realize that. It's not about just winning every trade. It's about making sure that whenever you win, it's bigger than your loss. Or the opposite way, that you win almost all the time. But theoretically speaking, and many people don't know this, you could have win only 1 out of 10 trades. And it's not bad, because you can still make a frick ton of money. Again, how that works for all the uninitiated is, let's say I put $100 into 10 different altcoins. 9 of them go to 0, right? I already upfront write them off. But that last coin does a 100x. I'll still turn $1,000 into $10,000, even though 9 out of 10 trades lost, if you understand my drift. But anyway, in the background, as we are talking about crypto regulation, many things are changing. We're getting ourselves new acts in the US that are supposed to help with this financial innovation. It's been taking its sweet time. It's not been going fast, but we're making steps. Similarly, over in India, apparently Binance obtained a registration with India's Financial Intelligence Unit, which again is just good steps in the right direction. And one thing I'll add, because I was supposed to make a airdrop video here, but it's taken a little bit of time because it's quite difficult to make it very easy for everybody to digest. If you've been doing my tips basically in previous airdrop guides, you would have been farming on EtherFi. If so, you can actually go ahead and claim some EigenLayer, which is very, very nice. Because it's basically free money, so make sure you check that out. And one more thing that happened, there's multiple, right? For example, one of the ones was this: America's third largest bank disclosed some Bitcoin spot ETF holdings in their report, but it's specifically this one right here, that Mark Cuban says the SEC chair Gary Gensler has not protected a single investor against crypto fraud. I'm going to say that this is one of the bigger vouchers for Ripple and for other companies right now, like Consensus, Uniswap, that are fighting with the SEC, or Department of Justice for that matter. But the fact that their goal at the SEC is to protect individual investors, but right now in the Ripple case, it seemed to only be for some of the bigger companies, and in a stupid manner, not protecting investors, is what is believed more along the high ranks than you might have imagined. Quote, all he has done is make it nearly impossible for legitimate crypto companies to operate, and I think every single one of us stands by that. Which is once more why these new acts and these policies and these changes are ever so important, and it's why I'm always happy to look out for them, even though the problem is they're just so slow. It's so stupidly slow the way new rules are made, and I think for the most part that's because a lot of these people are old. Then again, when I look at the comment section, a lot of you guys are also in the late 60s, some are even in the 70s. I wonder what the oldest viewer would be. 95? But so it's not about age, it's just, I guess, about how open you are to understanding the future, and I guess how much you want to protect money. But on the opposite side, some people just have different beliefs, right? And we have the right ones, they have the wrong ones. No, but I guess it's just a bureaucracy, and in a certain sense, the system is just so rigged against crypto for now that it's just hard to change, regardless of how much you want to change it. And it's also because, in the essence, this freedom money that we're talking about when it comes to crypto, it kind of goes against the grain of the traditional system. And so from a traditional system perspective, I'd also not really want them close or inside mine, right? I gotta for a second see it from that perspective. I'd also not like the way things are going right now. But at the end of the day, I think it's a necessity. People should have control over their own money. With all the banks going kaput and all the craziness that's happening, I personally think everybody should find freedom in owning whatever asset they want, which is why Gary Gensler is such a crazy guy in that sense, and why these laws are necessary. But hey, that's about it. That's what's going on with crypto right now. We're seeing a pretty crazy fall for altcoins, but ultimately, the major banks, they're hoarding up. So if you're thinking about selling, make sure you remember that. Our targets, I think, Bitcoin at double all-time highs are still rather low, even for just this bull market. I'd say those are minimum type of targets. For XRP, all I'm waiting for is that $1 play. $1, and from there we'll start talking, we'll start going. Solana, I'd say $1,000 is not that much. Ethereum, I personally think even $20,000 is within range. I think this will be the biggest altcoin season and biggest bull market we've ever seen. Crazier than the 2017 one. And that was already really crazy. And all I can say is just I'm really, really excited for the next few months. But remember, it's not a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's not a marathon. No, it is a marathon, not a sprint. Things don't have to clear up within a day or two. Think about it over a little longer period of time. Every bull market seems lost at some point, but usually it keeps going on for quite a while. I think we still have a good year to go, and that's also what I'm banking on. But yeah, that's about it.